Have you ever wondered why Islamic governments like the ISIS, the IRGC, the Taliban, Saudi Arabia, they all execute people they deem guilty of any minor fraction in public? Why does such a violent act need a public audience? What purpose does that serve? The Islamic regime in Iran executed 5 men in public today. Saleh Mohammadi, Mehdi Qasemi, Saeed Dawoodi, Daniel Karamati, and Mohsen Azimnia were executed at the morning call to prayer this morning in Iran. They were arrested less than 2 months ago and were murdered by the Islamic regime today by hanging from a crane in public. In light of this barbarous act and the violent nature of murderers of Iranians by the regime, I wanted to talk to you about a well-known authenticated hadith in which Muhammad states that he was granted victory through fear by Allah. This means Muhammad believed that he had the right to control his ummah through intimidation and conquer his enemies through terror. That's why the ISIS would burn their perceived enemies in public and shoot them at point blank on riverbanks. Hamas would record their murders and tortures of the Jews and broadcast it live. Saudi Arabia beheads the guilty sentenced to death at town centers after Friday prayers. That is why the Islamic regime that is more frightened of Iranians uprising than the US and Israeli bombs is back to executing innocent people by pulling them up from cranes at the morning call to prayer after sham trials. Victory through fear is a tenet of Islam and Islamic states. They do this intentionally and violently to silence any notion of dissent and force people into submission.